we're going to try this and we're going to see how it works. I'm having I'm having an issue with my lips not necessarily cooperating with my mouth and my brain, and so it's not 100% sure I'll be satisfied uh, with how this turns out, or the way I sound, or the way it may look. So I apologize ahead of time for that. I'm sure it's part of what's going on now, and you can probably file it under 2 steps forward and 1 step back, um, which is still okay because the net gain is still a step forward. This is Sunday. It is November 17th, 2019. It is Journal 228, T+229, and which is hard to wrap your head around anyway. In any case, it's really strange what this new bump in the road, or uh, things not going as well as they could be, or this glitch, or any one of the number of euphemisms people use to describe um, a problem, with recovery proceeding the way it should, or it could, or it might, or it would, or whatever. And all of those descriptions are accurate. They all make sense. But when it's all about you, and you're the I involved in all of this, it's a little bit different. And it's not like you ever stop thinking about all of this stuff consciously or subconsciously. It's either bubbles to the surface and it's bouncing around in your frontal cortex and you're thinking about it in your post primordial brain, or it's bubbling around in your subconscious somewhere. Um, but you deal with it. I mean, you have to deal with it. You do. We do. I do. We all have to. All of us have got things that happen in our lives that we've got to cope with, that we've got to deal with. So, but it's funny how you think about that stuff. It's funny how it manifests itself in your everyday life. I mean, when you go post transplant and you're in the process of getting through the chemotherapy, and they start feeding you full of all kinds of drugs. Um, the lip thing again. I guess I have leprosy. I don't know. Um, you don't really think about the medications that they're giving you. You assume that each one of them has their own role to play in your recovery, and you take whatever they give you, and you don't really have any way of knowing which of those medications is helping you to feel better, because they're giving you so many. It's hard to isolate each one from the other. And you're taking, in the beginning, you're taking 2 different kinds of anti-rejection drugs. In the beginning, you're taking antivirals, antibiotics, antifungals. You're taking, prednisone. You're taking all kinds of stuff. And at one point, it was close to 30 different drugs each day, multiple times a day. As you start to feel better, and as your body starts to respond to the transplant, they start to wean you off certain of these drugs. And you don't really think about how differently you're feeling, other than the fact that you're feeling better, in quotes, than you were before. And frankly, that's just not really hard to do, feeling better than you did before, because before you felt really lousy. It's when you're in the earlier stages of your recovery, but far enough along, after the 100 days, after you're going to clinic once a week, or once every 3 weeks, or once a month, and you've been weaned off many of these drugs, almost all of them, and you're no longer taking antifungals, and you're no longer taking antivirals, and you're no longer taking prednisone, and you're no longer taking any of the other drugs that we're talking about, and that I just went back on, you don't really think about that much either. You're so busy feeling better, really feeling better, that's good enough. Feeling better works and you accept that for whatever it's worth. When you hit that bump in the road, when all of a sudden something drives you backwards that one step, and they start to prescribe these medications again, you start to have a better appreciation for the difference in the way they make you feel. And that's subjective because everybody reacts to these things differently. I get that. And you should too, I suppose. We all should. You don't recognize the impact the steroids have on you. You don't really think about what the antivirals are doing, other than suppressing a viral infection or attacking it. You don't know what the antifungals are doing, as far as the way they make you feel. The side effects. And frankly, to a large degree, you don't really care. At least I don't. I mean, it's like, yeah, I know they're having an impact. I know that they're having an effect. I know that I don't feel right, in quotes, whatever right means. Right translates loosely to normal, but I haven't felt normal in so long. I don't know what normal feels like anymore. But I do, I do feel grateful that I still feel so much better than I did when I was symptomizing towards the end of my disease period before the transplant, and still feel much better than I did immediately after I started treatment and the transplant. So I'm okay with that. And I guess there are lessons in there that we can all benefit from, and that's probably why I share all of this stuff, this stream of consciousness, is because I think there has to be lessons in each of our challenges, in each of our confrontations, in each of our obstacles, in each of our battles that benefit all of us if we're willing to share them. So the secret, I guess, is to pay attention, listen to your body, figure out what it's trying to tell you. Keep a journal to some degree, a record, written or verbal or video record of how you feel, so that you can communicate it clearly to your treatment team, to your primary care physician, to your oncologist, to whomsoever, so that they can help you transcend whatever it is that's going on. And that's my message, I think, for this Sunday in 2019 in November. And that's listen to your body, listen to what it's trying to tell you, and then don't keep what it's trying to tell you a secret. Share it with your treatment team, share it with your caregiver, acknowledge it so that you are able to accept it, because you'll never accept it until you acknowledge it. And I think that's maybe the first step in all of this, is to recognize that you're working towards whatever normal turns out to be, and that every step of the way, whether a step forward or a step backward, is one step closer to that new normal. And the fact that you're able to experience it, the fact that you're here, the fact that it's all part of your recovery is just something that is real and tangible, and something that you have to deal with. So if you're going through something that's similar, I'm there with you, alongside you. I appreciate your being here for me. Stay well, take care, and remember that 2 steps forward and 1 step back is okay, because you're still 1 step ahead. All right, love you, bye.